Hello, everyone. It's good to see you, even if virtually. I'm now speaking with you from Hamilton, New Zealand, which is about an hour south of Auckland. And I left Myanmar about on the 6th of March due to the coup. So I think obviously the situation in Myanmar is just completely heartbreaking. And uh, Ayya said some of you might like to know a little bit about how to help and how to get more information about it. So I won't go too much into the details here, but if you go on to insightmyanmar.org, then they've got a blog and they interview many of the people on the ground there, activists and monastics and artists and people involved in the civil disobedience movement. And I've also set up this really wonderful platform called Better Burma, and there you can give donations, and these donations go to monastics who don't have enough food, and also to people in the civil disobedience movement like teachers and doctors, and who often have just been on strike for 3 months because they don't want to work for the military government, and now they're starving and they're in hiding, and so on. So I think it's really important for all of us over here to stay somewhat informed of the situation in Burma and to keep the Burmese people in our hearts, because really they're facing a kind of almost unthinkable situation with a lot of courage and a lot of determination, and many of them are willing to sacrifice their lives for the sake of democracy and for the future generations, but they don't have so much external support. And also I think it's important for us as Dhamma practitioners to keep them in our hearts, because so many of us owe so much to Burma. It's been such a place where the depth of the Dhamma has been preserved. So it's, at least for the bhikkhunis or for women, monastics anyway, it's one of the few places in the world where you can just go and practice full-time for years and have access to really amazing teachers and amazing teachings. And so what's been preserved there has been really special, and I think has had a huge impact on the preservation of the depth and the specificity of the Dharma internationally. And so we all owe so much to the Burmese people, and when we go there we're so well looked after. Their people are so generous and so kind and so willing to support us in any way. So this is kind of their hour of need, so at the very least to keep them in our hearts and to share metta with them and not to forget them. And if anyone is able to do more than that, then both Insight Myanmar is a really good platform, as is Better Burma, which is run by Insight Myanmar. So apart from that, so that in Pa'ok, where I was practicing, so far they're pretty much unaffected. I think they've been in lockdown anyway for the last year since COVID, and so it seems they're very well supported, at least the branch in Mainyo. They have enough food. The situation is very peaceful. They're still able to practice very profoundly, and I know that they're doing different chants and things for protection as well, for protection of them and for Burma. So so in terms of just catching up everyone with what's happening in New Zealand, well, really, I mean, we're just very lucky here. We have just incredibly fortunate situation. We've had some really incredibly generous donations over the last year, over the last 2 years, I think, which have put us in a position that we're able to go ahead and buy property. So really, so much gratitude to our donors, both from Sri Lanka and from New Zealand, and also our core group, the trustees of our New Zealand Bhikkhuni Sangha Trust, are very strong, very harmonious, and also extremely good practitioners. And so all of us hold together this vision of having the Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha established in New Zealand, and we're hoping to go ahead soon with the first Bhikkhuni residence here. So yeah, and also as well, our local bhikkhu, Venerable Metia, he's incredibly supportive towards the bhikkhunis, and really for about 10 years, ever since I first met him, he's been asking me when I can establish a Bhikkhuni centre here, and so we can have the fourfold Sangha established in New Zealand. And now we're working together closely, and I'll be teaching at his place in the next little while, so we're hoping to start some kind of program for dedicated practitioners and have day-longs or weekend-longs every month, and weekly classes going into detail about Dhamma topics. So that's where we're at here. So apart from that, happy Vesak, everyone. I've just been kind of reflecting a little bit about, I guess, just how lucky we all are to have come into contact with the Dhamma and the Buddha's teaching, and just how grateful I think all of us feel that the Buddha came into the world, and for his life and for his profound search for the truth, and the way that after he, reached enlightenment himself, he spent so many decades just completely selflessly teaching people and setting up a structure, setting up the sasana that would preserve the teachings and create a community that's been able to carry the Dhamma forward till now. Not only the teachings, but a way of life for the monastics that has preserved the Dhamma and the discipline that gives a container for the teachings to be held and preserved. So I know that before, as a young person, I spent many years kind of in this deep feeling of, I guess, just searching and feeling of confusion, like looking for something deeply meaningful that I could give my life to, and a way of going into life very deeply and understanding life very deeply. And I had this kind of inner restlessness and a great deal of searching until I came across the meditation and the teachings of the Buddha. And then after that time, I remember actually meeting it for the first time. After that, I just had this feeling of joy and clarity in my heart that has never left. And I just feel so much gratitude that it's been possible to come into contact with these teachings during this lifetime, and so much gratitude to all the teachers that I've been able to learn from, who have really illuminated and clarified different aspects of the practice and different aspects of the Dhamma. I just think this is something very, very rare and very, very precious, and I just feel very, very lucky to have come into contact with that this time round. So happy Vesak, everyone, and I think this is a very special time for us to really reflect on this great good fortune and our gratitude towards the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha.